you've got to wear a fancy outfit and a cape, right?
That's right. See, there you're thinking along Twiggy's lines.
Okay. Thank you, Lindsay. I'm going to hold this up, and maybe we can zoom in on it, maybe we can't. This is a great film called Something Borrowed. It was out in the theaters a while ago. It's now available on Blu-ray and DVD. It's about, well, it stars Kate Hudson for one, but it's all about relationships, somebody getting married and somebody else being in love with someone who's getting married, best friends. And it gets all complicated and it gets all lovely and there's lots of smiles and lots of heartbreak and it's all about relationships. So it was a wonderful, great idea, and that would be have a relationship expert in with us this morning named Kimberly Moffit. Good morning, Kimberly. Kimberly offers life coaching, cognitive behavior therapy, long-term psychotherapy, massage therapy, acupuncture, chiropractic, but mostly couples counseling.
Yes, absolutely.
Is there anything that you haven't been asked in you helping out people?
You know what? I have heard it all. I think I've heard it all anyways. I mean, try me.
Okay, well, here's a simple one that I want to ask right off the bat. What do you do in a relationship when you're seeing somebody and you're not ready for it, you're just dating, and they bring in the L word?
Ooh, I mean, that's a really good question. And I'll hear that quite often in my practice.
Oh, do you? Yeah.
You know, I think it's never good to say the L word before you're ready. So always, always, always check in with yourself. And a lot of people pressure themselves to say this just because they're worried that they're going to hurt the other person's feelings or that they're going to put them down in some way.
Yeah.
But really, that's not what's going to happen. I mean, it could happen, but it's more important that you're true to yourself and that you really are saying it when you mean it, because it means that much more when you're ready.
How do you prepare yourself for what is obviously the crushing blow of them rejecting you? I guess it's a rejection thing. Say, for example, okay, here I am with you. You know, I've been dating for a little while, blah, 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 and I have a ring, and I kind of, like, I get the ring, and I kind of put this ring down. You look at it, and you're not even sure whether I'm asking you or not. You don't know if it's a friendship ring or not. Like, you know what I mean? And I go, I love you, and, like, what do you do if I don't love you?
Well, it's tough, and I think actually this is quite common because couples, it's very common for couples to fall in love at different times. So I might be feeling stronger than you before you're ready to get there. So I think when it comes to engagement, though, and actually the L word, it's important that you're feeling in tune with the person you're dating. And if you're sensing that that person's not there
Back
yet,
off.
yeah, I mean, it should be pretty obvious. I think if you're close enough with that person, you know, that you kind of get to the point where you're like, I'm ready to say it, and you kind of wait till that other person's ready before kind of springing it on them. So I think it's a good idea to just feel it out first and get to know what they're feeling like, and then say it when you think both of you are there.
Perfect. Kimberly, I just wanted to say to other folks right now, Kimberly will answer, hopefully we'll get to your questions. Send them into contest at CP24.com, and we'll put the Something Borrowed DVD up for grabs for you. So get them in, do it now. Kimberly's going to stick around for a while. Okay, what about friends with benefits? Is that a healthy thing?
Friends with benefits?
Yeah.
You know what? In my opinion, as a relationship expert, I always say, no, it's not a healthy
Really?
thing. You know why?
Why?
Because intimacy creates bond. And especially when you're dealing with somebody in that kind of intimate way, you don't want to be taking that too lightly. I think that we can become very attached to the people that we're sleeping with, and it's very important that you kind of keep those lines clear and not blurred.
Right.
And I'm sure we've seen movies on that as well.
I think we have. There's a script there. Ready?
Yes.
All right, this is from Michelle. Thanks, Michelle, for this. What keeps a relationship strong after several years?
Well, in my practice, what I've seen the most is that communication is the #1 thing that couples need to keep in mind when they're planning a long-term relationship. Oftentimes when we see couples having problems down the road, it's because of lack of communication. People aren't talking to one another about what they're feeling, what their long-term goals are. And I mean, whether it's with the help of a therapist or you're just like meeting every once in a while to talk about things that are bothering you, this is so key. And I think the strongest married couples out there will tell you that they really talk to one another. They go for dinner, they have these conversations, and they really enjoy spending time together.
But I guess you found in your practice in psychotherapy that it's a safe zone. You can actually qualify it that way. Things that wouldn't be said when you're together because it might go somewhere else, escalate somewhere else. In a safe zone like yours, couples can actually say, okay, you're refereeing this more or less. We can be open.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think a good couples counselor won't say you're right or you're right. They'll just kind of mediate and say, you know what, it's nobody's right or wrong, but it's more about the way that you're communicating and the way that you're kind of judging one another. So the couples counselor will then say, you know what, guys, we need to address the way that you're talking to one another. It doesn't matter who's right or wrong.
It's a whole listening thing, isn't it?
It is.
You're not listening
It's
to
very
each other.
important.
This is from Syl and Steve Brooks. I guess not both of them, one of them. We've been married for 17 years. For the past 5 years, I've not felt any emotion from my husband. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. How do you get the spark back, or when it's gone, is it really gone?
Well, this is something that I see quite a bit as well.
Yeah.
You know, when you've been married for a long time, sometimes you can lose that spark. And marriages tend to kind of go up and down over the course of years. And a lot of couples find that they're just not connecting the way that they were. And what I find most often is that when the best way to actually kind of get around this is to create long-term goals for yourself. So oftentimes we get lost because we don't have anything that we're looking forward to or goals that we're feeling connected about. So sit down with your partner and start thinking about, what do you want to do in the future? Do you want to take a trip in the next 10 years? Do you want to travel the world together?
Have a benchmark that you're heading towards.
Absolutely. So really get excited about your life together. And these are the things that I find really bond couples together.
Incredibly, sage advice that way. I keep thinking about it. It is people that they just don't talk to each other, and there's no way for them to communicate. But what about that thing where they actually have said that this can't be helped? Is there a point where they can actually say this is not going to? What's it called? The term is irreconcilable differences. Does that really exist?
Actually, yes.
Yeah.
And the way that I determine that is if the trust is gone. So if somebody's had an infidelity, or if there's been some kind of indiscretion where the whole truth hasn't been told, that's a sign to me that the relationship can't be saved.
Okay. So there's no recovery from that kind of thing.
Some couples can, but the truth is, usually when I see it, once it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah.
Once the trust is gone, it's very hard to get that back with your partner. It doesn't matter how long you've been together.
Can you stay there? I mean, I'll go get water for you, do whatever. I'll do your makeup if you can stay.
Okay.
We got a lot more questions to ask you, so this is great. We'll be back with Kimberly Moffit. Get your questions in, contest at CP24.com. Problems with your relationship, somebody else's relationship, be a friend. Offer some advice through Kimberly. We'll be back in a couple at 7:15. This is CP24 Breakfast. Good morning.
Girl, I travel around the world and even sail the 7 seas. Across the universe and go to other